If you're still checking Calendly bookings and sending appointment reminders one by one just to reduce no-shows, this is the workflow to fix it. In this video, I will connect Calendly with WhatsApp through Whapi with Google Sheets using AppScript, so upcoming appointments land in one place and reminder logic runs from the sheet. Then I will add an AI layer that will draft messages from the appointment details so the team, your team, knows what to send next. So by the end of this video, you will have a sheet that helps you cut no-shows and handle reminders faster without any manual input. Okay, so this will be the spreadsheet at the end, and basically you can see I was just doing some testing. So in this case, you will have follow-ups for two types of appointments. One when it's within 2 hours, and the other one when it's for next day. So in this case, I just created two examples here. So this one for Sofia is within 2 hours, and then this one for Bruno is for tomorrow. So that's the idea. Once it sends the reminder, you will see that it logs to the sheet here, the start time, like what's the location, for example, if the appointment is still active. And this is coming from the AI. So basically the AI is creating this message based on the details of the appointment. So it's gonna take the name of the person and then it's gonna draft the message. And here you can see that it's sending, like it's logging details like how many hours and then if it was sent or not, okay? Like here. And that's basically important. So we are not sending the same reminder multiple times to the same person, right? So this workflow is useful because what I've noticed is that most businesses, what they do is that they have these Calendly meetings, right? And they're kind of like checking that manually. And then they're putting that in some CRM, in a Google Sheet or Notion or somewhere. And then they're manually doing the follow-ups, either by WhatsApp, SMS, or like calling, right? So in this case, I'm using WhatsApp, but this workflow can also switch that part of WhatsApp and you could implement SMS or, implement a calling automation as well. And also this is important because you might miss some leads or you might just forget, right, to follow up. But with this workflow, you don't need to think about it. This will be automatic. So basically that will be the automation. As I mentioned, we will have a workflow that will remind people when the appointment is within 2 hours and also when the appointment is for next day. This will happen automatically. Again, the AI will draft this message using the details from the Calendly details, right? And then it's gonna draft the message and send it. In this case, it's gonna be through WhatsApp, but again, you can switch these to SMS or whatever channel you're using, right? So here we have again like two examples. So this one is for a meeting that we have within 2 hours and this one for next day. If we go to Calendly to show you how it looks like here, you can see I was doing a bunch of tests. So that's basically, you see all of this, but basically you can see that I have a meeting for Sofia in 2 hours and then one from with Bruno for tomorrow, Saturday, right? So that's the idea. So for example, if we run this, just to show you how I will run, like let's delete these two and then you run it here like that. And then you will see here that it's sending. So right now it's drafting the reminders, sending that through WhatsApp. And then if we check WhatsApp, you can see here that we received two messages. I put the same number, so that's why I received the message in the same chat, but ideally you will have different numbers, right? But you can see here that this one is for Sofia. And the cool thing as well is that AI also checks the time. So it calculates, for example, in this case, it's within 2 hours, the reminder, right? But right now, I run it and the meeting is in 1 hour. So AI knows, okay, in 1 hour, so I'm gonna put 1 hour and then same for this, right? Like it's using the time. So you don't need to also hard code this, but AI will do it for you. So in this case, again, like Sofia, hi Sofia, this is a reminder that your 30-minute meeting starts in 1 hour. Looking forward to speaking with you. And then this is for Bruno. Same thing, it's just that it's saying, okay, we have a meeting for tomorrow. Please let us know if you have any questions. Again, I put just a generalist prompt here, like for the AI, but you can always change this manually. I'll explain it later in the video, but yeah, this is just a general prompt. All right, so let's get into it. I will create a spreadsheet from scratch so you guys can see how I'm doing everything. But like as always, the template will be down below in the description. Just make a copy of it. It's free. And you can run it yourself, okay? I will explain what you need to change, what you need to configure, but it's ready to go. It's down below in the description. Okay, so we go to a new spreadsheet. Let's rename this Calendly bit, just like that. And then we go to extension, AppScript. Again, you can also switch it doesn't need to be AppScript, but in this case, I will just do it with AppScript. It's pretty simple to use. So here, let's call it the name, same name. like that. And here, okay, so the idea is that we will have multiple files and each file will do something, right? So that's what I tend to do. I tend to keep the code organized, but something that is like the most important part is something that is called a config, right? So I always have this config, and basically this config will be a variable with more variables inside, having all the things that we need to set up, okay? So basically this is the config, and I will go one by one with you so you can see how to do everything. Okay, so basically this is the config, and you can see here that we have just a bunch of variables that we need to fill, right? So I will go one by one. So the first one is the report sheet name. So basically this is just the name that you will put here in the workbook, how you want this to be called. In this case it's just sheet name, but we can call it report, for example. So for example, let me change the name of this here, like that, report, yeah. And then if you go to a script, you need to name it the same. So again, it needs to be the same, right? So otherwise it won't work. So now we need to get these details from Calendly. So we need the access token to be able to access the API and see all the meetings. So what you do is that you go to Calendly, and here you can see on the left that we have integrations and apps. So you click there, and then it will give you everything that you can connect. In this case, we need to connect to the API, so you can type it like that. And we need this one, API and webhooks. So you select this one, and here this is just the one that I was using for this test. But basically, you just click here and create a token, and then you just get a name. It's gonna, I will run it the same that I named the spreadsheet with, and then here you can select what's the scopes, what the permissions that you wanna allow this token to access. So for the scopes, we only need the scheduling. This is the one to access the events. This is just, for example, if you wanted to manage something with your account. This is for security in case you wanted to implement some rules. And then this is webhooks. For the ones who don't know what a webhook is, basically it's like something happens in Calendly, notify something, right? So let's say you are running like a automation where you wanna like, I don't know, if someone accepts an appointment, you wanna run something when that happens. So you need to get notified when someone accepts the appointment. In that case, you need also webhooks. But in this case, we are not getting into webhooks, but eventually I might record a video for that, okay? But in this case, it's just scheduling, and then you click on next. And then here you need to verify. Let me do it quickly. Okay, here we are. I have this code here, so that's it. And then you just copy this token, right? So in this case, just make sure that you copy this and you put it in the script because it will disappear. So you go here and you put it here like that. So that's pretty much what you need for that. In this case, this variable Calendly look ahead days. So basically here is just telling the script how many days in advance you wanted to see, like the events. And this affects only if you also change these variables here, because you can see here that we're saying like send a notification for one day within 24 hours and one within 2 hours, right? So in case you will like, okay, notify if 2 weeks in advance, well, you need to also allow these 14 days, right? So he can check what are the appointments in 2 weeks time. So the idea, but in this case, I'm just doing it for like the maximum is 1 day. So I'm just putting here like 7 days, nothing crazy there. And then here, the Whapi base URL. So this part, you can just leave it like that. Basically is what's the endpoint for Whapi. So now Whapi, what is Whapi? Whapi basically is like a wrapper for the WhatsApp API. You could access the WhatsApp API multiple ways. One is like WhatsApp Business API. I already recorded a video for that, but sometimes tends to be a little bit complicated. You need to like get approved or like do a bunch of stuff. So if you don't want to use the WhatsApp API, the Business API, another option that is also pretty solid is called Whapi. So for example, if you look at it like this in Google, it's this one here. And then this Whapi API is a little bit more expensive, right? You need to pay more, but it's super simple. Like you need to get a token, and that's pretty much it. So I will do the setup with you so you can see. But basically here in this base URL, you don't need to change in case something happens, like maybe for example, they release like the second version of the API. So you just change it like that, right? And you don't need to change anything else. But in this case, this is the general one. You don't need to edit anything here. So we need this Whapi token, right? So how to get this token? So you go here to Whapi, you create an account. It's free. You can test with one number. So for example, if you check here the price, you see that we have these, like you can have 5 conversations in the developer sandbox. So this one is pretty cool to test. But in case you want to like use this like in production, like with people, like as a normal company, in that case you will need to pay for this, okay? So yeah, you just start free trial, and once you go to that, basically you need to create an account and then you follow the steps. So once you're in there, we can get the token. So I already have an account, so I will just log in. And once you are logged in, this is the first thing that you will see. So I don't know if you will see it like this way, or once you're in the dashboard, for example here, you can just click in add a channel and you should see this. And basically here, it's like when you are connecting to WhatsApp web. Basically you just scan this QR code with your phone and then you should be able to see WhatsApp. So let me do it. So you have to scan the QR code, and once you finish with that, you should get to the step where you need to just give it a name to this channel. In this case, I will put just Calendly, it's like for this, and then you save and next. And then here, this part you can just skip it. Basically, what it is webhooks again. So webhooks is if something happens, you get notified somewhere. So maybe if you're like, for example, you want to extend this automation in a way that, I don't know, maybe once you send the reminder to a person, you also want to capture the response to something, right? You might just get like, for example, a confirmation, or if they are rescheduling, you need to get that data so you can reschedule. In that case, you need to set up a webhook. In this video, I'm not going to get into webhooks, but that will be the idea, right? So you gotta set up webhooks here so you can receive these events. So let me know down below in the comments if you want me to record a video about this, but yeah, for now we don't need it. So you just click in save and next, and then voila, you are here. So you can see that pretty much this is everything that you can do with Whapi. So it's pretty good. You have a lot of stuff. But in this case, we are just going to use messages, right? So what you need is this API URL, which is the one that you saw here, this one. And this Whapi token basically is this part here. So you copy that Whapi token and you put it here. So that's basically what you need for this Whapi token. So now the next part is this report time zone. So basically this is just their time zone, right? So you can put whatever time zone you want to have there, and this is just for the script. You know, when you write the log in the spreadsheet that the reminders were sent, there will be like a date and an hour, right? So you want to have that there just to match your time zone. All right, so we have this other tool, which is basically what I mentioned before. So one of them is like, what is the time range that you want to have? So for example, this will be within the 24 hours, meaning next day, and then this will be like within 2 hours, right? So these two reminders here. Then we need